Welcome to the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a show that is a central hub and safe space for authors to share their stories. The Bold Book with Dr. Denise begins now.
Welcome, hey everyone. Welcome to the Bold Book of the Day. My name is Dr. Denise Nicholson. I'm the author of Sila, When Mommy Left for Foreign, and the creator of the Bold Book of the Day podcast. Today, our guest is the beautiful Miss Amina Mohamed. She is a motivational speaker, an author of 5 books, people. She's a teacher, she's a visionary, she's a collaborative author, and she has multiple number one best-selling books on the Amazon platform. So here we go. Without any further ado, my friend and partner in the bold business, Miss Amina Mohamed. Welcome, friend.
Hey, Queen! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I just want to give God all the praise, honor, and glory. Thank you for this powerful conversation, this moment to connect, and this is such a beautiful, bold opportunity to just really, really shine. So thank you. Just lots of love and gratitude to you, Queen.
It's just nice to have you because we work so much together behind the scenes. It's nice to have you talk about your book. We're always working on other people's books. So Amina helps me to get people to the Amazon number one bestseller. She's an expert in this area. And so we work together all the time on helping, putting together this big launch so that we can help people reach their goal and live their dream. But now we're here talking about your book. And this book is amazing. Tell us about your book, Amina, and why you decided to write this book.
Yes, absolutely. So this is my book, The Confidence Catapult, How to Ask for What You Want and Get It. My book is about self-image transformation. One of the most powerful things that I learned is in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, which is the power of your self-image. And I remember being in a lesson and Bob saying, if there was any lesson that you should really study, Bob Proctor, saying if there's any lesson you should really study and you want those transformations in your life, it's this lesson. And I just became obsessed. I became obsessed with changing who I was on the inside so that I could change the results on the outside. And I decided that if I was going to be this new, best, more confident version of myself, that I had to change how I felt about myself, how I saw myself, had to overcome these limiting beliefs. And in doing that, I completely changed my life. And I had people coming to me, how are you doing this? I got to speak at the House of Lords. I got to, speak on the TEDx stage. I've published my own book. I've done multiple Amazon bestsellers. I've traveled to meet Les Brown. There's so many incredible things. And, all those results are only the reflection of the internal self-image of who and how I see myself. And once you know who you are and whose you are, honey, you will step into your greatness with that confident, most best version of yourself. And I decided once I learned it, I just wanted to teach other people because it's incredible to see that transformation in your life. But to see someone else light up, to see someone else shift and transform, like you said, we help people become number one bestsellers. I do that because it makes me feel alive. I love just making dreams come true. It's so much fun, so much fun.
Wow. Amina, I know that I met you 3 years ago on the Les Brown's platform.
Yes.
When did you start this work, this deep work of self-development?
So when I started my journey of self-development was actually in a moment of crisis. We all go through things, we all grow through things, and there are some things that really imprint us. And what happened to me was my best friend passed away and my grandmother. And I remember being at the bedside of my best friend, and she called out my name in a room full of loads of family members, friends. And she said, Amina. And she was high on morphine. She passed away through cancer, but she called my name. And I'll never forget this. And I rushed to her bedside thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And she said, pinky promise. And I was thinking, girl, this is not the time for a pinky promise. I don't have time for this. But I remember her reaching out her finger like this. And she said, pinky promise. And I just thought, okay, I'm gonna trust and follow. And I just pinky promised. And she said, no regrets. No regrets. And those were one of the last words she said to me, because I remember her coming to the end of her life, having wished that she'd done so much more. And it hit me in that moment that the greatest gift, the greatest loss in life is not death, but it's what dies within us every single day.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing that you were a part of her transition,
Yes.
that she was able to leave her rippled effect, her
Yes.
thumbprint on your life, so
Yes.
that you can impart in other people the same thing that she imparted in you, which is to
Yes.
live. She told you, live life with no regrets, no regrets. And
Yes.
so you're imparting that on us. Each and every time we see you, you're motivating us and encouraging us to do more, to do it all, to live our dreams. And so that is beautiful that she, she left her fingerprint on your life, and you're now leaving her fingerprint. Also, it's a ripple effect across
Yes.
the world. Wow, that is powerful. But a lot of times we do find ourselves wanting to do things and talking ourselves back out of it.
Mm.
You made up your mind, you decided that you're going to start that business, write that book, do something different, make that change, and then you build yourself up to it, and then you talk yourself out of it. Then
Mm.
when you get older, you said, "You know what? I wish I did." Or maybe you didn't even get older. Just a year later, you're saying, "I wish I did." Just like you, your book is going to be a year old. Can you imagine a year ago? It was still in the process. And now tell us about the feeling of how you feel knowing that you put this out there despite the hard work that you needed to put in to get that published. And now your baby's a year old. Tell us about that.
Oh gosh, I can't even begin to explain the feeling. I remember this idea coming into my head, and I thinking, oh, I better write that down. Better write that down really quickly. And just thinking, I don't know how, I don't know where, but I need to get this book out of me. Like, we all have these ideas, and when they're just dormant inside of us, and they get to a point where they just start coming to the top, and it's like you have to act now in that moment. And there's just something within me. Maybe it was the energy of spring that said it's time to blossom. It's time to really just grow, Amina. And I said, okay, I'm gonna do it. I don't know how, I don't know what, or if I'm gonna be successful, but I just knew that I had to move. And a lot of the time we get that intuition, it's one of our higher mental faculties. We know we need to move. We know we need to act. We know we're not living our purpose. We're not living in our gifts, and we ignore it. And that's how we get stuck. We get stuck in those, paradigms, those limiting beliefs, those cycles of constant limitation. And once I decided, okay, I'm going to do this, I set the date. I said, I'm going to do it 5th of May. And it was just like, I could see the end in mind. I kept imagining the book. I kept imagining the feeling, just the feeling of holding your own book. It's so powerful, because writing a book is not just about you. One, yes, it is about you. It's about healing yourself. It's about telling your story, sharing your message with the world. But it's also about this legacy that you're leaving. How can you leave people with the impression of increase? How can you help them to just reach that 10% more, that 10% more? And as you do that, you're going to create this momentum to actually help them springboard into that most confident self. And for me, it's unbelievable to think a year ago this time I had this idea in my head, and now it's here. I've published multiple international bestsellers. I'm working in alignment with one of the most powerful women I know, Miss Denise Nicholson. You might have heard of her. You might have heard of her. Bold Publishing in the house.
Oh my God.
And just to see that dream manifest, the one principle I always follow is to surrender. Once you
Mm.
surrender to that calling, that mantle on your life, because we know when we're the chosen ones, you're always a little bit different. And I call it being wonderfully weird. Allow yourself to be wonderfully weird in that moment, and to just allow your gifts to flow through you. So I'm having my in-person launch event, and I'm just so excited. I wasn't able to do it
Please
last
tell
year.
us when. When is the in-person launch event?
Yes, it is 6th of May, 2023. And it will be at this cafe called Roots 25. I'm going to, share everything online, but it's just such a privilege, because even that cafe, it helps people who are underprivileged. So all the money that I make is going to go straight to charity, because it's always about giving back. It's always about how can I serve and give more. So I'm really, really excited. It's just such a blessing just to see, your dream unfold. If you really surrender, you can have anything. You really, really can.
How do we surrender?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question.
Hmm.
I think first you have to have an ego death, right? You have to get yourself out of the way so that you can put God or source or universe, whoever your source is, in the top position. And you have to ask yourself, if I had complete freedom to choose anything that I wanted to do, what would I be doing? So imagine you had all the money in the world, you had all the time in the world, what would you be doing? So you're taking away, all those limiting beliefs. You're taking away all the shackles of, I need to stay here, I need to do that, all the fear. You're taking all the shackles, you're breaking down all those shackles, and you're allowing that the spiritual essence of who you are, that light version of you, to actually step in and say, I'm abundant. I can have anything I want. And from this place of limitlessness, what would I like to create?
Wow. So how did you become this person? I know you said you did some self-development work, and when it started for you, when your best friend, she kind of catapulted you into this
Yes,
realm of self-development
she did.
because she's on her deathbed and she says, pinky promise that you're going to live with no regrets. But how long has this journey taken you, and how do you measure your growth?
I love that question. So this journey has really been since 2017, 2018. So maybe about 5, 6 years. I really had to start internally first. So I had to, go to therapy, I had to go to counseling, I had to really heal. Trauma is real. Trauma is very real. And if you don't heal it, you're gonna feel it for the rest of your life.
Ooh, repeat that. Repeat that for the people in the back of the room.
If you don't heal it, you're gonna feel it for the rest of your life. And I just said, I'm not gonna feel this way. I choose to be happy. I choose to be free. And I started to unpack all these layers. And I describe therapy as going to someone with a massive suitcase and you've just got all your rubbish and you've just put it all in there. But you need to get to the airport and that your bag needs to be a certain weight. And what they help you do is they help you roll up the things that you need. They help you take away the things that don't serve you. And they help you actually to use what you have in the best way that you can. And once I started to do that, I just unloaded the things that didn't serve me. I started to leave them behind. And I said, okay, who do I want to become now? And, I invested in myself, starting with Les Brown,
Yes.
Power Voice. I invested in myself, working with Bob Proctor. I always invest in myself. And it's when you invest in yourself, you choose remember that investment, there's going to be an ROI, which is a return on interest. So that interest is you. You are your greatest investment. When you invest in yourself, it always multiplies and comes back to you. Always, always, always. And every time I've invested in myself, it's not about the person I'm investing in. It's about where do I want to get to next?
Yes.
And does that person have the result that I'm desiring?
Yes.
Because success leaves clues. We just have to pick them up.
That is so true. Success leaves clues. But guess what, guys? If you invest in a program and you put in the work,
yes,
you're going to get the results.
Always. Yes.
And
yes.
the best, like Miss Amina just said, the best return on investment is when you invest in yourself. Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've been doing this work for about 5 to 6 years, and now you have seen your growth. You've measured where you started and where you are today, and how you've helped so many others along their journey to start and excavate and see where they are in this, big old world, and how they can become the person that they want to become. Now, for you, it started with your friends from crisis.
Yes.
But what if I don't have that kind of a life where I don't feel, there's no crisis, there's nothing going on, I'm just living day to day. I know I feel something need to change. I don't know. Should I just wait for the boom?
No.
Okay.
Don't wait for that, honey.
Okay. What do I do? For the people out there waiting and just sitting around sick and tired.
Right. Yes. First of all, don't wait, because the universe, life will hit you hard. Let me tell you now. It floored me completely. You know, I had PTSD, depression, anxiety. I was bedridden. I actually couldn't move for 3 weeks. All my nerves had gone, and all the trauma in my body started to unlock. And because of the mind, and I couldn't process what was happening, my body just shut down. And I just remember using my eyes to be able to speak and to connect with people and thinking, am I ever going to get out of this? So what I'm saying to you is, don't wait for you to be in a situation of crisis. We move from two places, which is joy and happiness and excitement. And then we move from that other place, which is despair. And you don't have to get to that despair. My message is, move now when you're in inspiration, when you're excited, when you feel like, okay, there's something in my heart. All you have to do is ask yourself, what am I really good at? What am I really good at? What do people always compliment me on? Is it your tailoring? Are you great with words? Are you a singer? Do you write? Are you good with children? What are you really good at? Because the greatest thing is God, he makes it easy for us. He makes it so easy. He's put that gift inside of you.
Yes.
And he shows you what your gifts are just by the people around you and the compliments and the words that you keep hearing. Oh my gosh, Denise, you're amazing with words. Oh my gosh, Denise, your book. Oh my gosh, Denise. It's all those compliments that you receive throughout your life that are actually the gifts. And as you do that, it's kind of like, like being like that scientist who's looking at these, bones, and they start to excavate and they start to push out, all the dust on these bones, and they're moving it, and they finally get to see, oh, wow, this is what I've been hiding this whole time. So really just ask yourself, what are my greatest compliments? What do people always appreciate and adore about me? And if you don't know for yourself, then ask 3 people in your circle. Just ask them 3 words that you would describe, or 3 gifts that you think I have.
Yeah, start there.
Yeah, start there. Definitely start there.
Because we all hear, I know for me, I hear it all the time. People will say, you're good at this. And, it's important when people are telling you you're good at something. You may not like that thing because, you're so, it comes so easy for you. So you don't see it as a talent.
Yes.
But if people are coming to you constantly saying, hey, you're good at this, thank you, can you show me this? You need to look at that and say, that's my superpower. That's my gift.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. So how did you come up with the name for your book?
Okay, so the name of my book is The Confidence Catapult.
Mm-hmm.
How to ask for what you want and get it. And, I'm a dreamer. I surround myself with the dreamers of the world, the change agents. And I've always been told, if you have a dream inside of you, let it free. That's something my grandma always said. If you have a dream inside of you, let it free. And I remember just thinking, okay, what do I want to create? What is it that I really want to create? And the one thing people kept coming up to me about was my confidence. How did you go from not being able to speak in front of the camera to doing interviews to speaking in public? How did you do this, Amina? How? And I just thought, oh, I shifted, I changed. I couldn't see that I changed, but it really worked. This self-image transformation is so powerful. It's this script that you operate on. It's your internal success mechanism. And it's like this thermostat that's set. And if you don't change the temperature, it's always going to bring you back to a certain state. So you have to reprogram the mind. You have to change that system, that GPS that keeps saying, okay, I'm heading north. Maybe you want to head northeast because you want to be more specific. You want to get to your goal. You can't just be heading in one direction your whole life. You have to really narrow down. And when I decided on my title, The Confidence Catapult, it was literally what happened to me. It was this future version of Amina that I could see. And all I wanted to do was just to parachute and fly and catapult myself towards her. And I thought, if I can do it, anyone can. And I just thought, this is what I've learned. This is what I've learned, and I want to share it. So yeah, that's why.
So
it
you
came
packaged that up and
Yes.
put it in a book so that you can help more people build their confidence and get what they want out of life.
Yes, absolutely. Because I'm telling you now, it works. There's not been a goal or a dream that I've written down on paper, because you have to write things down, or put on my vision board, that I haven't achieved. I can
Yes.
guarantee that every single thing that I've ever desired from this new state, this new self-image, this most confident self, I've always got, because I'm operating at a certain level now.
Mm.
Everything is vibration. And once you kind of align yourself to that new higher thinking, the universe has to meet you there. There's this law of cause and effect. And Emerson describes it as the law of all laws, that every external result has an internal cause.
Oh, we were just talking about that this morning. Yes. 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 Wow. Wow.
It's the alignment for me.
The law of correspondence is, what's
Also,
inside, what is below is above. And it's the
yes,
same thing. Wow. Yes.
yes.
We really have to learn these laws
You
because
do.
they help us. This our creator create these laws that
Yes,
whether you know them or not, they control the universe.
yes, yes,
They
yes,
make the universe run. So when we learn them, we equally run our lives effectively.
yes. In
Yes.
flow, in flow
Yes.
state. Once you know
Yes.
God's laws, you're operating in this flow state. And that's all I've ever wanted, this flow,
Yes.
effortlessness, not, crashing and trying to be in this masculine and, oh my God, I'm trying so hard and nothing's working,
Yes. Yes. Wow. You are just a wonderful, inspiration. I appreciate you so much. But how can people who see what I see in you, how can they get to work with you a little closer?
Oh, absolutely. Well, you can reach out to me, connect with me on Instagram at Amina Inspires, on Facebook, Amina Mohamed. And, there's so many different ways. I teach mindset, teach self-image transformation. I also collaborate with you, Miss Denise, helping people to get to their dream. I thought, well, if I can become an number one Amazon bestseller in a few hours as a new author, what else is possible for others? And for me, I really see it as we have these chains of limitation, And I always think, who can I serve? Who can I help? How can I surrender to my purpose? And once you're in that place, you're just limitless in whose life you can really touch and imprint. So, connect with me on Facebook, Instagram. You can email me at aminainspires@gmail.com. And yeah, I love serving people. So it's all about that connection.
Yes, I know that one of your biggest talents is being a servant and helping people. Tell us a little bit more. I know your book is going to help us with confidence and help us to get what we want, but how so? How do we get
Yes.
what we want just
Oh,
by reading
yes.
your book?
Well, I teach people the 5 steps of conscious creation. I believe there's 5
Oh,
steps in conscious creation. And the first step is to release the past. We have a lot of limiting beliefs. We have a lot of things in our heart that we've kind of held on to for so long. And I believe once you release that past, you can step into this place of certainty. And then once you've released the past, the next step is to reprogram the belief. So that's, how can you prepare your self-image? How can you prepare yourself to be the person you wish to be, that most confident self, that higher version of you? And then the third step is to replace your story. And I call this the paradigm imprisonment. We all have this paradigm that has chained us into different beliefs. You're not good at this. You'll never be successful. You can't do this. All these limiting beliefs. And I believe that once you replace that story that you keep telling yourself, that you can actually free yourself from that. And then the fourth step is to recreate. And this is one of my favorite pieces because this is the one thing I live by in everything that I do. And it's called the DAC cycle. So you have to define, align, and create. Define where you're going. So be specific. Don't just say, I want to be successful. How are you going to be successful? What does success look like to you? Is it becoming a mother? Is it earning £1 million? Is it just traveling the world? Define it. Then you have to align. And alignment is all about your self-image, the beliefs that you have about yourself. And once you change those beliefs, you change who you show up as. You're changing that self-image. Then the third step is to create. Once now you're in the right position, you know where you're heading, you allow, God, source, universe to be that open channel within you to actually give and create more in that gift. And then the fifth step, is to revise your awareness. And I teach people the success acceleration tools like, the self-confidence formula, or how to actually know the different levels of awareness, so whether it's animalistic or higher consciousness, but really looking at what are the tools you can use today to really unlearn those old habits, those limiting beliefs, that negative self-talk that you always have, and just move from this place of being on autopilot and being negative or being fearful to actually being that deliberate conscious force for change in your life.
Wow. Thank you so much for breaking it down. I was taking notes, honey, because I love to learn. But I want you guys to really write this down. The DOC cycle. That's defining, aligning, and creating. And that is the part that's going to get you. But you really need to hook up with Miss Amina, because it sounds like, okay, so we need to define what we want, we need to align with what we want, and then we need to create. But you may need some help with this, okay? Because Amina, she's been on this journey for 5 to 6 years, guys. Okay.
A little bit of time.
She's learned some stuff. And that's why it's so important for you to meet these authors and listen to how they started and where they are today, so that you too can be inspired. And if you have a dream, a goal, something that you want to do in your life, you can learn that it's not going to happen overnight. But once you start the journey, each step of the way, you're learning something and you're becoming that person that you want to become. Right? So, Amina, you wrote this beautiful book. How did it feel when you finally completed this book?
Oh gosh, I just cried. Let me just be vulnerable now. I just cried and cried and cried, because it was just tears of pure joy. I've always wanted to be an author. And it's that story. I came to this country as a refugee, so not being able to even speak English and write English, and I wasn't able to even read out loud. I remember having this one teacher who forced me to read out loud, and I would stammer and I would stutter, and I was thinking, I'm never going to be able to read. I'm never going to be able to read. And she was the one person, Miss Price. I'll never forget her. Never forget her. She said, Amina, you can do this. You can do this. And she just kept saying that all the time. But coming from that place of, I didn't know anything, to having to learn this language, to now mastering, being able to speak it, to writing it, to now, imparting knowledge, it's just, it's a dream come true. Like, it really is possible. Once you have an idea in your mind, you can create it. But it's that belief inside of you, what is that narrative that you keep entertaining? And I just said, after my best friend passed away, I said, what, it's possible. I'm going to start from it's possible. That's where I start.
Yeah.
That's where I start. It's possible.
Wow. Teachers are so important. One of my favorite people on this earth are teachers. My favorite teacher is Mrs. Atterbury, and she was my 3rd grade teacher. She left such an impression on me. And at first, I didn't like her because I didn't think she was leaving an impression on me. I thought she was always picking on me. And if she wasn't picking on me, she was bragging on me, and it made me feel really small when she brought me around, and just I felt. And she was rough too. She wasn't so smiley all the time. She was rough. So I at first did not know what she was doing, but after a while, I was young also. I was in the 3rd grade, so I didn't know what she was doing. But after a while, looking at every single thing that I've learned in my life and seeing how I'm an author today, because when I was in the 3rd grade, she encouraged me and sent my work to get published. As a 3rd grader, my stories were being published in the national newspaper because of Miss Atterbury. Okay, so teachers are so important. If you are a teacher out there, we love you.
We love you so much. Thank you for your service to humanity. Yes, we love you so much.
You made us who we are today. Yes,
absolutely.
Wow. So you felt this great relief when you completed your book. Does writing energize you, or does it make you feel empty?
Oh, writing energizes me. I love writing. I'm from Somalia originally. So that's the Horn of Africa, and we're known as the nation of poets.
Where are you from?
Somalia.
Mm-hmm.
And we're known as the nation of poets. So, we express our biggest love language is words. And I didn't
Ooh,
really realize that. But the way, my grandma would decorate and just always be affirming, I would just like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. You look so beautiful. And she would say the most amazing things. I didn't realize this is a love language. And I would feel so good. And then
yes,
I learned that because obviously I was in her presence. I learned that behavior. And now I'm able to do the same, but it's that belief that you actually know who you are. So
yes,
when I kind of realize, okay, I love words, I love using words, I love the impact it has on people, I love how it makes people feel, and I can express myself better with words than anything else.
yes,
um, and I think it's Maya Angelou who says, people might not always remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. Always.
yes. Ooh, yes,
It's just like, you're right. Like, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you're trying to figure out the best words. Like, it's
mm,
just, how can you just make that person feel just a little bit better? Just feel a little bit better.
yes,
And speaking from
yes.
your heart that's really you speaking in the truth, speaking from your heart.
Yeah, I always tell people make a decision who you're going to be when you're going to an event. Make a
Mhm.
make a decision. Decide who you want to be when you step into that room. Who do you want to represent? What do you want people to learn from you? Be the person that is going to be the one that brings joy to the room,
Yes,
the
yes,
one that
yes.
brings hope to the room,
Yes,
the
yes.
one that brings inspiration in the
Woo!
room.
Yes, yes, yes. It's
Yes.
the
So
power of
I
intention
get
as well.
that.
So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We could just go on and on and on. And I really love talking to you. I also wanted to know, you have this beautiful accent, and I know where you're from, but could you tell the people where you're from, my friend?
Yes, yes. I'm from London. So from London in the UK, United Kingdom. Yeah, been here for a long time now.
How old were you when you got to London?
Bless me.
Bless you. Bless you. True words coming through, people.
Yes. I was 3 years old. 3 years
Ah,
old.
you're a baby.
Yes, very young.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's
Do you
been.
remember Somalia?
I do. I do remember Somalia, but it's not great memories. So
Mm-hmm.
the reason we fled was because of the war. So I remember,
Mm-hmm.
lots of screaming, crying, lots of bodies, little I used to have little images, little flashes of that, hearing bombs, different things like that.
Did you deal with the trauma when you came here, when you were a child? Were you going through any therapy, or your parents didn't even
Yes.
understand? Okay.
Yeah, when we came to this country, we went through refugee support. So
Mm-hmm.
they this charity, and they really worked with kind of helping to integrate back into society, not feeling like any loud sound is a bomb, so you got to run and hide. That was
Oh,
a thing that I was very scared of, any loud sound. And I remember being in school and they would have this bell for lunchtime, and I would always run under the table because I thought, oh my God, there's a bomb, or there's something bad's gonna happen.
yes. And so they gave you a place to deal with that, therapist, someone to speak to.
Yes, yes, yes. So it was kind of art therapy. So I'd be drawing different things. I was very
Mm-hmm.
young. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
drawing and kind of trying to explain what I felt. But it was very helpful
Yes.
to kind of just express. It's so important. What you
Yes.
don't, all the things that you're suppressing are the causes of that illness, that disease, that dis-ease in your life.
Ooh.
Once you
Mm-hmm.
express it, free yourself, you're not going to be in that disharmony. You're going to actually be in that flow state.
Yes.
Really, really honestly, I urge everyone to really just take an internal look and say, okay, how can I improve? Where are my triggers? Why do I keep getting triggered by this person or that accident or this incident or whatever that's happening in your life? Like, what is God, the universe, trying to tell you that you need to heal inside of you?
Yeah. You're so inspiring, Amina. And I love that you are transparent and you shared some of your story with us. Guys, if you want change, if you want something different, if you are sick and tired of where you are today and you know it's time for change, you need to reach out to Amina, because I'm sure that these 5 steps that she has placed in her book, she's going to show you through her course how you can get through these 5 steps and become the person who you want to be. Amina, you are inspiring. Tell us who inspired you. Who are name three persons that have inspired you.
Definitely, that's quite easy.
Easy one, okay?
The first person I would say is my grandmother. She was a woman before her time. I would definitely say that. She was a trailblazer. She was, someone who educated herself, which is one of the things that was very frowned upon in our culture. She married multiple men out of love instead of arrangement. She really just grew this huge generation. She had 18 grandchildren before she passed away, and all from her, basically.
Yes.
So she was someone who just said that it's possible that you can have anything. There's a dream inside of you, let it free. She kept saying that to me over and over again. And she would have like all these endearing names and all these things that she would call me. But I realize now she was cultivating this love inside of me, this energy of like joy that I can like express easily now. It's within me now. It's part of who I am. So she is definitely one of the first people who inspired me in so many ways. I think the second person is definitely my best friend. Like, she taught me the mindset. Yes, she taught me the mindset. I was not a positive person. let me be real with that. I was not a positive person. I thought life was happening to me. I thought I was really unlucky, that God he doesn't care about me. He doesn't see me. And I used to blame the world for all my problems. And I remember this one day we went to watch The Lion King in theater, and it was one of her favorite films, and she just said, Hakuna Matata, and she kept saying it over and over. I thought, what does that mean? And I realized it means no worries. When you come from that place of no worries, like you trust, you have faith. And it's not just blind faith, because that doesn't work. You have to have this unwavering faith in God, in source, in spirit, whatever it is that that everything's going to work out for you, and you operate from that place. It's no worries. I don't have to worry about the end. I don't have to worry if this is going to, I trust. I know. And yeah, she really, really placed that in my heart. And I think that the third person I have to mention, our Papa Les now. yes, Papa Les Brown, being part of his Power Voice community for, was it almost 2 years? Being in that close-knit circle during a global pandemic.
3 years this June.
Oh, wow. 3
yes,
years.
Honey. Yes. June, I think June 10th, 2020 it started.
Time flies. But, when I heard that calling in the pandemic, that, the world needs you, that was the voice I kept hearing. The world needs to hear your story. The world needs to hear your voice. And I just stepped in, scared and nervous and all the feelings.
Yeah.
But I knew that, once you have that calling, you have to step into it, take action. You know. And I know I'm talking to someone today, what that little voice inside of you is saying. And you just have to honor that person.
Wow. So you've named 3 significant people. Grandmothers are the best. Okay, so teachers are second to grandmothers. I love grandmothers. I had a wonderful grandmother, and I think teachers are awesome. They're right under grandmothers.
Absolutely.
And then parents come after. But you've had some really great inspiration in your life, and I'm sure they impact your routine. What does your daily routine look like?
Oh, how long you got?
Oh, tell us. Yeah, tell us. So if we can learn something that's going to help us with our life, improve our self-development, steps, let me know. Let me take notes.
Absolutely. I love you, Miss Denise. She's like me, a lifelong learner. We just love to learn, honey. Yes. We love to learn. So every day when I wake up and I open my eyes, the first thing I do is gratitude. I have to start in gratitude. So whether that's prayer or just, holding my hands over my heart just to say, thank you for another day. That's all. Just thank you for another day. Because some people didn't wake up. Some people didn't make it through the night. Some people didn't make it through the day. And I did. And just that gratitude, just that breath of life, like really connecting to that breath of life. I remember one of my teachers saying, the longer the breath, the deeper the breath, the longer the life. And I remember taking deep breaths after that. Deep breaths.
Yes.
And then I sit down, I do my prayer. That's, my time to connect with God. I speak to him. I thank him for, things that I have in my life. I thank him for things that I want, because I want to create that energy. And then I meditate, because now I've spoken to God, I've surrendered, I let him speak to me. And that's what meditation really is. listening, right? Because the noise of the world can really distract us. And do not pick up your phone before you've done your routine, okay? So I just meditate, I connect, and whatever that day, whatever that affirmation or whatever I'm trying to create in that time, sometimes it's all things are possible to those who believe. Sometimes it's I am unstoppable. Whatever that affirmation is, I need to do. I'm just praying, I'm meditating over it. Then I'll write my gratitude list, things I'm grateful for, things I'm excited. And I write down just 5 wins that,
Ooh.
I want to have for the day, 5 wins that I want to have, and then I look at, my to-do list, to-done list, I call it now, because it's going to get done. And then I'll go and do, a workout. And I always listen to someone whilst I'm working out. So whether it's Nightingale, Les, Zig Ziglar, there's so many people.
Did you say Nightingale?
Yes, Nightingale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's so many people. Sarah Jakes, TD Jakes, so many people. But I start my day in this momentum of empowerment.
Yes.
You have to always, I think there's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, then the enemy outside can do us no harm. You're disarming that enemy of limitation, of disbelief, of anger. You're just disarming, just letting it all go, putting your walls, your strong walls of faith up.
Yes.
And then you're ready to take on the day. And then I'm like, whew, Superwoman ready.
Ready to go. So how long does that take you?
About an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay, that's not bad. So guys, you can't just roll out of bed and roll into work, or jump out of bed and jump into your car to get to work. You really need to wake up early, you're saying, and start with gratitude and meditation and prayers, gratitude, prayers, then meditate, so that you can listen. You've asked for what you want. Now you need to listen to the Creator speak to you, and the only way to do that is reading His Word and meditating, people, so you can get the answers that you so desire. But you need to find time to be still.
Yes, be still. Stillness is so powerful.
Yes.
Still the mind.
Once you've done your work, be still. Be still. Amina talked about surrender earlier on, and that's being still.
Yes.
Just not acting like the problem is still there. It doesn't exist. It does exist. But if you've given it to the Creator, now you need to be still.
Yes.
So that, and not bring anxiety into your life by figuring it out, trying to figure it out yourself, but to just give Him the space so that He can put the people in place and the resources in place so that you can get it. When when you're still, it takes a lot of strength, because you need to leave all of the work. Just sit yourself down and leave that energy right where it needs to be. Leave it for your Creator, but sit still so that He can put everything in place. That's part of working on yourself, is learning to be still. It's not easy.
Oh, yes. No, the first time I tried to meditate, I was laughing. I was like, I don't want to do this. What is this crazy spiritual thing? And today, I cannot go a day without meditating. It will show.
Oh, wow. I started practicing. I heard about meditating before, but I didn't think that was for me, honey, because I tried it and it wasn't working. So my mind is just too busy, I thought. But when I went to Lisa Nichols' retreat, and she showed us how to meditate, I just came back and I started to practice the meditation. And at first I was like, oh my God, this is gonna take me a while. But no, I started being still for 1 minute, and then just do that 1 minute every day, 10 days. On the 20th day or 11th day, up until the 20th day, I increased it to 2 minutes, and I just kept increasing it. Wow. And the more you give yourself the wins, because if you could do it for 1 minute and you did that for 10 days, it feels so good.
So good.
Then you increase it, and it feels so good to just be able to keep still and be still. And I've learned I can do a whole 30 minutes now. I can't do an hour yet, honey. Okay.
Yes, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there.
Yes, but I'm so comfortable with that that 30 minutes, I feel like I've accomplished some things.
So much, yes.
Yeah, and that's a big deal for me because I couldn't do it before.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I was the same. So I want to encourage
Yeah.
anyone listening. I could not sit still, right?
Okay.
There's so many distractions in life trying to, kick you here, this, in attention currency where, attention is the most valuable thing. But you have to give yourself attention, pour into
Yes.
self before anything else. Because once you do that, especially meditation, is so grounding. And there's so many different types. So don't just limit
Yes.
yourself to one.
Yes. Learn the different types of meditation. Yes. Yeah. So there's a different meditation that I'm trying to learn by Silva. What's Silva's
Oh, yes.
the Silva method it's called.
It's the silver method. I've heard of that one. Yes.
A
So
year
powerful.
a year ago I started that. I started that April of last year and I got so something else happened to me after that and I was like, I'm going to leave this meditation stuff alone.
Yes.
And then I came back to myself and said, you know what? Words are powerful.
Yes.
Silence is powerful. Being intentional about my meditation and my silence and listening to my creator is powerful. So I'm back at it. Not the whole
Yes.
method, but
Come
I'm back
on now,
at it.
Miss Denise.
Okay.
Medicine.
You are
It really is medicine. It's medicine.
Oh, it is. You're so amazing, Amina. And I always say, when you're amazing, you can't go unnoticed.
Praise God. Thank you, Queen.
I even though you were quiet when we just met, well, when I saw you first, we were in that platform for Mr. Les Brown in that big class. There were over 500 people.
There's so many
Most
people.
days it was over 400 people on when we met. But I noticed you. I noticed how quiet you were. And when you spoke up, you had this soft voice. You are such a different woman today from that girl.
Don't I know it?
Oh, Nina, you're such a different person, but you are simply amazing. And I am so glad that I got to work with you. I got to learn about you. I got to know you because you truly are inspiring and you're imparting your amazingness in this world. Now, another amazing person that I know, well, I don't know her, but she's my friend in my head.
Yes.
And that
I have loads of those.
it's Miss Michelle Obama. If you
Oh,
could have coffee with her, what would you say?
oh gosh. Oh gosh. What would I say to her?
Mm-hmm.
I would ask her about I think I would ask her about her journey. I know she's written a book, which is Becoming. And
Yes.
I would ask her, what did it take to become? People always see the good part. And I think you were speaking about this today on your podcast show with NA, but it's about, the foundation is a lot deeper than what you see on the outside.
Yes.
How deep did she have to go? What was the biggest thing she overcame? That is something that always inspires me. I always ask people, what's the hardest thing you've ever overcome? Because
Mm.
it shows their character, it shows people's values, it shows a defining moment in their life
Yes.
where they shifted. And for me, I would ask her, what was that? What was the experience? What did you learn? And I like to move in quantum leaps. So
Ooh,
oh yeah, quantum, honey, you know
bring
about
it
that.
back.
About that energy.
Bring it back. Okay. Yes.
I sit at these people's feet just to kind of hear, to listen, and
Yeah.
to be a student. That's the only way you can create those quantum leaps, by taking
Yeah.
action,
Yes.
implementing. I listen to you, Denise, a lot. The stories that you tell, little bit parts of wisdom that you don't even think that have impacted me. And I'm like,
Mm.
wow.
Wow.
Some of the stories, I'm just like, this woman is I'm just unforgettable, so unforgettable. But
Thank
it's when
you.
you listen to those stories that you can say, okay, how can I implement that lesson that took maybe 20 years for that person to learn? And I want to learn it
Okay.
in minutes.
Yeah, it's true. We do tend to, when you get a message or a lesson from someone, which is good that they've taken a while to learn it and they can impart it on you and you can implement it in your life and start to make the difference in your life. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming. I have 3 bold questions that I like to ask each guest before they leave. And I want to ask you before you leave, what is one bold promise that you can share with the world?
I love that. Yes. Well, my bold promise to the world is that pinky promise that, you know, I'm going to live full and die empty. That,
Ooh.
this world will know my name. There'll be this
Mm.
massive imprint when I leave, not because of ego, but because I want people to know who they are.
Yes.
There's this one quote that, someone said to me once, and it just shifted everything. They said, "You are more powerful than you know, and they fear the day you find out."
Ooh.
But thinking, oh my God.
Shivers. Yes. I got chills with that one. Yes, sis.
I'm going to make sure everyone knows how powerful they are. So
Mm.
if you're around me, I'm going to spread it like glitter, honey.
I love it. I love it. Now, what is one bold statement that you can share that will cause a paradigm shift to the listeners?
A bold statement that will cause a paradigm shift to the listeners is impossible is an opinion.
Ooh, she came with it.
And it's the opinion of someone who maybe loved you and was trying to, take you away from fear or disappointment or anger, from someone who's trying to protect you, but you don't need that protection anymore. Impossible is just an opinion, and you get to decide what's possible in your life and what's not possible. You get to decide what is that operating thought, because thoughts really do manifest. We become what we think about.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are magnetic. They're so magnetic.
Yes.
And your feelings are energetic. Everything around you is going to vibrate at that level. It's going to shift. It's going to move. So your only thing is to choose where you're operating. Are you going to operate from it's impossible or it's possible?
It's possible.
And just believing.
Yes. Leave here with it's possible.
Yes, honey.
Now, what's one bold move that you're going to make in the future? You heard it here first, people.
Okay. Well, my bold move for the future is to become bicoastal. Okay. I'm trying to get me a little home in the New York. Okay.
Yes. Yes, sis. You need to be here. Yes. We are big on self-development here in America.
And sunshine, I heard.
Yes, in certain parts. Yes. At certain time of the year, in certain seasons. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I agree. So you want to come and live in the sunshine part of the US. Okay.
I do. Yes, I do.
That's down south.
We'll find it.
Okay. But if you want the balance, you come to New York. We have the Four Seasons.
The 4 seasons. All right. We ain't gonna rain up here.
So when you start missing the dim and dullness of the UK, you'll get that in a season. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. And I love. I wish we had the entire day because we could talk all day. We usually do when we meet for work. We usually just talk all day. But you guys got a glimpse of the amazing Miss Amina Mohamed and her wonderful book, which is coming out. Well, it's here already, but it's coming out again. And the first anniversary is coming, and it's Confidence Catapult. How to learn how to get something. Tell me
how to ask for what you want and get it.
How to ask for what you want and get it. You see me eating up the words? Okay.
No, you got it, honey.
So thank you so much for coming. And I really appreciate all of the wisdom that you shared. And for you, the listener, if you would like to write a book and publish it, please send me an email at authordnicholson@gmail.com. That is AUTHORDNICHOLSON@gmail.com. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Bold Book of the Day with Dr. Denise Nicholson, a central hub and a safe space for authors to share their stories. Follow Dr. Denise on Facebook and Instagram at Denise Nicholson, or go to denisenicholson.com. Remember, no one can share your story better than you.